Welcome back. You're still watching Sprint, and I'm still joined with Abdالرحمن مجدى, sports presenter with القاهرة والناس, and also the former media officer with the Egyptian national team. Now, just very quickly, what do you think of Rafael Nadal return after the sort of the knee injury and returning back to have his fifth title ever since his return?
It's a big challenge for him because now, for 7 or 8 months without playing actually like serious games is quite a long time. For me, it's always entertaining to watch Nadal playing. My favorite would be Nadal and Murray, especially lately Murray is doing fine too.
Yes.
I'm not a huge tennis fan, but these two, I like them, and also the Williams in the women's tennis.
Right. And now let's move on to Serena Williams and going to Roland Garros. Like last year, she managed to win the Madrid Open, but she did not manage to win Roland Garros. She's hoping that this is not going to be the same case for this year. Let's have a look at her victory over Maria Sharapova in Madrid Open.
After the toss. Any questions?
World number 1 Serena Williams racked up the 50th title of her illustrious 18-year career when she thumped Maria Sharapova 6-1, 6-4 to defend her Madrid Open crown on Sunday. Williams' victory, her 4th tournament success of 2013 and only the 7th on clay since she turned pro in 1995, prevented Sharapova from leapfrogging her to the top of the rankings. It also showed the 31-year-old American, a 15 times Grand Slam singles champion, is on red-hot form as she prepares her bid to add to her sole French Open title at Roland Garros starting later this month. Sharapova struggled to find her range as Williams battered winners to all corners to race into a one-set lead. The Russian world number 2 mounted a fight back at the start of the second set, but could not sustain it, and Williams broke her for a 5th time in the match to secure a first title on red clay. The Madrid courts were blue last year since the 2002 French Open. Sharapova, 26, the French Open champion, has a woeful record against Williams. She has only beaten her twice in 15 attempts and never on clay, with both victories coming almost a decade ago. Williams, the oldest player to hold the number 1 ranking, is 10th on the all-time list for most career titles.
0-40. Juego de partido, Williams. 2-0. 6-1.
Gracias a Dios, gracias a todas ustedes, gracias a... Estoy muy feliz, gracias a María, gracias.
Welcome back. You're still watching Sprint, and moving on now to the African Champions League. After we brought you the roundup for the latest tennis events, and definitely the Madrid Open. I'm still joined with Abdalrahman Magdi, media officer, former media officer with the Egyptian national team. first, let's have a look at the CAF Champions League and the draw. And that's mainly the top story of the week, having both teams, Ahli and Zamalek, once again within the same group. This time, it might be a little bit different, having some sort of turbulence within Ahli. Ahli at the previous year also had this sort of turbulence of Manuel Jose moving and Hassan Baldi taking over. But now it's a different story, having Zamalek from the other side with this, 10 winning streaks and a solid performance. So how are you looking at this?
Zamalek, like you said, is having a good season so far, one of the greatest starts for a season. 10 wins so far, and then one loss, but then they bounced back. I think it has two sides, like one positive side and one negative side. Like the positive side is still now, they have two other teams, of course, with them in the group. One team from Congo, one team from South Africa. But the idea of having both Ahli and Zamalek in the same group would help if they're both in good form, which is actually partially true now. Like they're both doing fine. If they both win the other two teams, they can take each other to the second round. Yes. This is the part of it. But of course, also the negative part that they will be playing each other, so they will be dropping points. But I think in a group like this, there's a good chance that they make it both together to the semi-finals, because Orlando Pirates, they knocked Mazembe out, yes, which is of course a big team, but still Orlando Pirates, I think, is not the team that is very scary for Ahli and Zamalek.
And without the enough experience, I guess, when it comes to the group stages within the African Champions League.
Yeah, and history, even like if you look back to history, like the South African teams, they don't really do well with the Egyptians. Like I think we have like a bit over them. And for
AC
the
Leopards,
and for the Leopards from Congo, we've seen this team in the Super Cup versus Al Ahly here. And Al Ahly, like the team was missing a lot of important players, yes, exactly. And still they managed to win 2-1, if I remember right. Yeah, 2-1. So I don't think for both teams there shouldn't be some like if things go normally
and smooth.
Yeah.
What do you think of the second group, having Esperance Cotton Sport of Cameroon and Lebola of Angola and Siwi San Pedro of Ivory Coast? A lot of new names, at least to me. So
the last two teams from Ivory Coast and Angola, for me, are new too. But when you look to the teams from Cote d'Ivoire, anyway, you don't have any easy games there. I mean, being with a team like Orlando Pirates, I think it's a little bit, well, if you go to South Africa, it's much better than you go to Cote d'Ivoire, for example. So I think Ahli and Zamalek are also lucky to be with these two teams, not with the team from Cote d'Ivoire that you know nothing about, and the team from the fourth, Angola. I mean, yeah. But of course, Cotton Sport and Esperance, the big teams and big reputations, and Cotton Sport played against Ahli in final in the Champions League a few years ago, and was a tough competitor. It's a tough group, but still the top favorites would be still Esperance and Cotton Sport, I think, by far than the other two teams.
Yes. If we go back to Ahli and Zamalek, because this is, it might be, like you mentioned, a very positive thing if you have the two teams qualifying, especially that Ahli has the experience and they can manage to pick up their performance all of a sudden. And they are very result-oriented. While at the same time, Zamalek and Vieira is really doing good with Zamalek for the very first time. Zamalek is doing for years, is performing really on a high foot when it comes to the Egyptian Premier League. And it seems that they are having this sort of consistent play. So they missed the 11th consecutive win, definitely. When it comes in terms to a draw, not even a loss. But again, they are aiming to dominate this, the Premier League, and will be heading. So, would you think that it would remain to be a fact of a positive matter, having these relatively new entrants to the group stage of the African Champions League?
It's worth mentioning also when you speak about the form, by the way, for Al Ahly. Al Ahly now lately has been for like a lot of games playing without a group of very important players. Like now, Ahly is getting back Hossam Ghali, in the group stage, getting back a guy like Ram Rabia, getting back a guy like Fathi.
Even Geddo, I thought Geddo's returning.
Will still have, like, we need after 3 months, yeah, so maybe he's not catching the first game or the first couple of games, but I think like these players will make massive difference. So this can help also, like you said, Al-Ahli gaining his form back, and the Malik is this year is different, and the spirit and Vieira, and I think the chemistry is different. But Zamalek, if things go in the club the same way it's going now, without money being paid, without salaries, the end of the season is approaching, which is like in June, which is also the time when the group stage is beginning. Yes. So if things remain like this, and now 5 players are going to, till now they haven't renewed their contracts. So it's opposite situations. Al Ahly getting players back. Zamalek is losing a lot of players, losing a lot of spirit with everything happening in the club, with the management, with the board. So it's tough. They need to.
Do you think there might be a little bit of a switch here?
Of course.
With the downturn in terms of Zamalek, but an upside boost in terms of.
Yeah, I mean, if you look like for a month or two in the future look, I think you can call it like this.
It might be a different situation. How would you see this, you know, the first match of the July, the vicinity of 19th to 21st of July, the first derby match between Ahli and Zamalek, especially that there has been a very long gap where the spectators didn't see Ahli and Zamalek together, and they didn't meet. And also after the tragic incidents, so it's quite a little bit of a sensitive situation returning back to such an important derby.
They last met, I think, in the African Champions League 2 last year in the group stage, so which is like a long time ago. It was Ahli won a game,
a year,
draw, yeah. So now it's not a derby. You cannot call it a derby now when it's with no fans. Like you can call it. The whole league is like a training games. All of this, like you just watch and you can hear the voices of the coaches calling the players. It's losing.
It's a little bit awkward, yeah.
Awkward.
True.
So. Yeah, it's. I mean, of course, it's interesting still to see both Ahli and Zamalek in the same pitch, same field, playing a game, a serious game in the African Champions League, and everybody will be like, you know, there's big hunger for real football now, because even this league this year is not like with one of the best leagues, 2 groups, and it's different, and Ahli is one group and Zamalek is another, so not very good.
If we move to from the African Champions League to another African competition, the Confederation Cup, and also the draw is this week. How are you looking at the draw, knowing Ismaili and MP and their situation there?
Look, let's speak about 2 phases in this draw. The first phase is Ismaili facing Benzerti, the Tunisia, and MP and Saint George, and we've seen those 2 teams, of course, against Zamalek and against Ahli. And now we know that both teams are good teams, for sure, so, which is good. I mean, which is good to know. No surprises now. When MP is playing Saint George, you cannot say something like Zamalek. Then when they said they were surprised with how good Saint George are. Now, this is not the case for MP. They know that they need to prepare very well. And for Benzerti now, maybe Ismaili, of course, is now also losing a lot of his players, which is tough. And I think Ismaili's situation is the hardest out of the 4 teams and the Egyptian teams playing in Africa because of because of their situation in the club. But still, the good thing that they've seen the Benzerti playing against Al Ahli. The other part is the draw that takes them after they qualify from this phase. They're expecting very tough groups, both of them, very, very tough groups, because Sfaxien is out, Otwal from Sahel, Negm Saheli, Otwal from Tunisia is out, Mazembe is out. All these teams are now going to the Confederations Cup and have made it out to this stage. So I think the groups in the Confederation Cup will be seriously tough for Ismaili and MP.
And that's could be the tough news for Ismaili and MP, because at the beginning we thought that they have this sort of room to finally win a Confederation Cup.
Yes.
But then after the good news for Ahli and Zamalek, where these teams, the top teams, are moving down to the Confederation Cup, it will make their lives difficult, I guess.
Of course, so let's see. Let's take it step by step, of course, because now they have 2 serious challenges against Saint George and Benzerti. But afterwards, let's take it step by step.
How long would it take for 2 teams like Ismaili and MP with this, sort of long years of experience, to manage to leverage this experience in winning such an African competition, which was never won previously with the Egyptian teams?
I think for MP now it's not far. For MP is getting closer every year, and MP is a team that have a lot of like, they don't have any financial problems, they have everything ready. But for Ismaili, it will take maybe forever, because Ismaili is every year is losing their best players. So you don't expect like just the same like Arsenal. Arsenal for 8 years now, they're not winning any title. Wigan is winning the title, and Arsenal are not. But it's the same. Ismaili, I think. The chance for them would be very low, and it would be a massive surprise for me if they manage with this group of players, losing players every year to maintain a confederations like an African title. Would be a big surprise for me.
Let's hope it goes on the positive side in the Confederation Cup. Let's have a very short break and return for more. Welcome back, still watching Sprint, and heading to the Egyptian national team and the latest news. We will definitely leverage your presence as the former media officer with the Egyptian national team and being close to the Egyptian national team. We'll try to get as much of insider information from you as we can. At the beginning, how are you feeling towards this road or an exciting trip towards the qualification, where Bob Bradley and his team are quite focused towards the Brazil World Cup qualifications?
They're doing their best to be focused. Yeah, I think this is the better way to
doing their
saying.
best to be focused. This means that they are being distracted, or there is a lot of challenges or hurdles to focus on the qualification.
Of course, I mean, I think you hosted here Zaki Abdel Fattah, the goalkeeper's coach, a week ago or two.
Yes, 2 weeks exactly.
2 weeks ago, and you guys mentioned something about this, and the challenges are a lot. Of course, starting from the challenge that everybody knows about the league, and stopping the football activity and then resuming the league with no fans, and these are all challenges. And challenges with the players, with their condition, like morals of the players, and like they're all of course down now, and the financial situation with the clubs are not very good, so they're having money troubles, everything like this. Affects, of course. But now also when you go through the matches, that for example, let's say the home games here, of course possibility of having fans is almost now none. Exactly. It's good that now we have 2 away games, so we're not facing this. There's a lot of challenges and distractions from every side. I mean, the staff is really doing a great job, just trying to protect the players from being distracted and try to keep the team focused and having the dream in front of their eyes for.
So I guess there is a huge list of the frustration points or challenges that I guess Bob Bradley came and has been shocked with. Being close to him, do you think he at a certain point in time did he get sort of frustrated from what's happening? Because it is considered to be a lot. So having a stoppage in the league, having these political circumstances, and the changes, and playing without fans, and having a lot of inconsistency in terms of having the sort of players to push in with friendly games, financial situation, to establish proper friendly games, and so on and so forth. Yeah, did he reach a frustration point at any time?
A frustration point that would would make him leave the job, you mean, or? Leaving the job is not an option for him, from what I know, like from how close I used to be with the staff. That is not an option. But of course, there is no big shocks for him when he first arrived, because he knew how the Egyptian football operated, and he was kind of prepared to this. But of course, everyone would be shocked side tried to happen, for example. I didn't expect the league to stop for a year. I didn't expect to be taking the team, like going around everywhere in the world trying to set up a friendly with third, with C and D teams in Africa, just trying to make a friendly. So of course these things were very frustrating. Yeah, of course. But the good thing about him that you can learn from him was also that he always says something that is very useful. Like in life, we have things that we control, we have things that we cannot control. So you don't really need to worry a lot and keep thinking about the things that you cannot control, but just do your best on the part you can control, and this is what the staff is doing now.
Do you think they are on the right track today in terms of qualifications? I
think they're doing the best that can be done. There is no promises that any coach who's giving promises would be not an honest coach, because in football you can be the better side and then lose, and so you cannot always promise to win something, but you can promise to give your best and do the best that can be done, and this is what the staff is doing now. So, for example, they're doing well and they almost won the group. Now it would be easy with the last 3 games to maintain the top spot and qualify to the knockout phase, but you never know what happens in the knockout phase. This is the hard part about the qualifiers this time. It's different, not only a group and the winner of the group goes to the World Cup. It's still a knockout phase that you don't know, are you playing home first or away first? You don't know who are you playing, you don't know who is the referee and how good he is, how lucky you would be on that day. So it's very tough. The knockout phase for me is the part that I've been thinking all time, even when I'm working with the team. I've been always thinking and wondering how would be the knockout phase.
Yes, this is going to be the challenging part. Final question regarding the Egyptian national team. I was speaking, like I mentioned, to Zaki Abdel Fattah, and he mentioned that the federation, when I asked him about the federation and their support, he said that they are trying, but it's not enough. So how would you describe the support of the federation for the Egyptian national team towards this important goal?
I think the federation now, the board is a group of people who are different, who are very, very, there is a big variety of people from different locations from Egypt, different backgrounds, different education levels, everything, different mentalities. And I would say that the people who are trying to help, or the board members, or the people who are working in the federation who are trying to help in a positive way, and they're doing something that can help, I think they're not the majority, of course. I mean, the rest of them, either they don't know how to help, either they would call it that, I don't know, I don't want to call it agendas and go that deep, but I would think that, of course, not enough.
It's not the proper support towards the Egyptian national team.
Definitely, and there's not, I think the level of the mentality of Bob and the level of experience and professionalism he's doing, you can see the gap.
There's a huge gap.
Yeah, of course. The system in the U.S. is different than the system in Egypt.
Who's Bob's best player?
Best player?
Yes.
I think, if you want to ask me, because I don't want to speak for him, but I think now, if I'm speaking, my point of view would be now Mohamed Salah, the best player in Egypt, of course. Bob would call him the most dangerous player, him and Geddo in the attacking part, and now Geddo, of course, is out for a little bit, so he would say that it's Salah. Yeah.
Right, now let's move to the Egyptian National League, and with this awkward, group phases, and it's lacking the spirit. But anyways, how are you seeing the performance, whether from Zamalek's side or Ahli and MP trying to also be strong? So let's start first with Group A.
The Group A is Ahli and MP now.
Ahli and MP, yes, they're dominating the top.
The bad part about this group, I think it's not fair. The way it is now, it's not fair. I understand, of course, that maybe there was no other way to do it. So I'm not blaming anybody for the league coming out in this form, but it's not fair that you win, for example, 10 consecutive games, and then you're in the final league with another 3 teams, and whoever wins like a 4-team league, he's the winner of the league. It's not fair, because the league is always about the team that wins more over the whole season, and the team that is consistent over the whole season. Now it's turning more like a cup, which is, I think, it's not fair to call it a league. But of course, Zamalek is now I think the best team in both groups. If you want to speak about Group A, Ahli, of course, now maintained or secured his position in their position in the last in the final league, in the final round, and MP is having a big difference of points than Smoha, the one in behind. So it's very obvious that Ahli and MP are now through. But the big challenge in this league now is the relegation. Half of the teams of the league are now fighting relegation. It's incredible. Yes. This is the part that you need to, for example, watch today. Wadi Degla playing Mahalla, and Mahalla leading 2-0, then Degla bouncing back 3-2 and winning. Yeah. It's unbelievable. This is the real excitement. But excitement in matter of points and positions, but in matter of football with no fans, of course, we agree that there is no excitement about this part. But I think the challenge is now is in the bottom more.
And how do you see Ahli's challenge with the retirement or the pullout maybe of Hussam al-Badri from the team?
The thing is, Hussam al-Badri leaving at this point wasn't the perfect situation for Al-Ahli, especially that it's in the middle of the league. And this is the first time in the history of the club that the coach is leaving by himself, is quitting in the middle of the season. They're always either firing the coach or waiting to the end of the season, and this is now the first time to happen. But
it looked like purely financial.
Of course, but let's be fair. I mean,
times 10 offer.
Yeah, exactly. This is what I'm saying. Let's be fair. If you look like to the offer, like it's a times 10 offer.
He cannot drop it. He cannot decline.
Yeah, and it was or leave it. Take it now, leave it. So. Yeah, you can look at it from this way, but of course the fans and the management of the club, they never look at it from this side. They look because I think it's also a mistake from the club, because there is no sense in working with the coach without a contract. 100%. There's nothing called that he's our guy and we trust him. There's nothing like this now in football. He's your guy and now he left because you didn't give him a contract. So they have to deal with it now. But Yusuf, the good thing about the new head coach, Mohamed Yusuf, is that he's very educated, football educated. He's very prepared. He's been around the world looking for knowledge, more knowledge everywhere. So this is the good part about him. And with time, I think he will be doing well. And let's see how it goes.
And do you think he's going to be continuing?
I think it's a matter of winning the league or not. I think this is how it is now.
That's going to be like the previous test that Hussam al-Badri had.
I think if he wins the league, he will definitely remain. You cannot fire a coach who won the league. No, he will remain, I think.
And it could be a good chance also for him to prove himself, like what Hussam al-Badri actually did, being from a school that belongs to Manuel Jose, definitely.
True, and I don't think he's stepping down to the second man again.
Yes, let's hope he keeps up the pace, and it's going to be exciting with both of the teams. Now, let's wrap it for the local news, and let's move on to Europe, and starting with Man United and Ferguson and the Rio Ferdinand's 87th goal, ending actually Alex Ferguson's career after retiring last week. Let's have a look at the story and return for more information.
Rio Ferdinand's first league goal in 5.5 years ensured Alex Ferguson was given a winning send-off, thanks to a 2-1 Premier League victory over Swansea at Old Trafford in the veteran manager's final home game in charge of the club. Swansea's Micho had equalised an opening goal for United forward Javier Hernandez, and a day of celebration seemed destined to end in minor disappointment, until Ferdinand, who signed for Ferguson in July of 2002, appeared on the end of Robin Van Persie's 87th minute corner and shot home from 6 yards out. In an emotional post-match speech, Ferguson, who will be succeeded by Everton manager David Moyes, praised all at the club during his 26th. As a typically torrential Manchester afternoon dampened proceedings, if not the mood, The fixture that marked Ferguson's final home game was always to be largely irrelevant, with the manager having won the 13th English League title 2 weeks ago. But the significance of the occasion made for an electric atmosphere at Old Trafford, as the teams came out and created a guard of honour for the retiring manager. Ferguson made a low-key entrance in these circumstances, taking the place on the United bench for the 1,499th time as a manager, as a club employee held up the electronic subtitles board to display the figures 26 and 38, the number of years Ferguson has been in charge and the number of major trophies he has won respectively. The 75,000-plus crowd have been also issued with flags, red for United, white for the few thousand visiting supporters, while one side of the stadium displayed a mosaic which spelled out champions activities. There was such an air of celebration and reminiscence around Old Trafford that one burning issue hardly registered the fact that England striker Wayne Rooney was not even named among the substitutes by Ferguson. But all sides on the pitch were cast towards Paul, the 8-year-old United midfielder, who had similarly announced that he is to retire at the end of the season and was handed a start by Ferguson.
Welcome back. Still watching Sprint and moving now to the European leagues, and we're starting with Man United and Alex Ferguson winning or ending his career with a very interesting title early on, though. So most of the European leagues had an early finish for the titles. Abdulrahman.
This is the disappointing part this year, because now a few weeks ago, long weeks ago, I think it was a little bit clear, because in some leagues it's not possible, I think, to retain the difference, like in the Spanish league, for example.
Yes.
In the English Premier League, it was, of course, the case is always different, and you expect competition till the last phase. But this year, I think Man United had a very good season, and there's actually two parts about Man United winning the league. They had a very good season, and teams like Chelsea, Arsenal, Liverpool, they had a bad season, at least on the league level. Chelsea, of course, had overall not a terrible season, but Arsenal had a bad season, Chelsea in the league bad season, Liverpool bad season, Manchester City compared to last year and compared to the spending they spend on their team. This is a terrible season.
Yes.
They lost everything now, and even the cup they lost it to Wigan. So Man United, of course, was the most consistent team. They sustained like a good level of football over the whole year, and they deservedly won the league. And they have a good group of players. Of course, Ferguson now knows knew how to set up a great team like Man United.
I guess he had it set up for quite a long while, and maybe retiring with this sort of celebration is definitely the best way to end his long years of managing and running this team. Definitely.
This is true, and the way he's leaving the team, he's also, like, the point of view you can hear from him is very nice, because now he's leaving the team in a condition that is, I think, would continue for another few seasons. A team, the level of age is not high, all young guys, not young guys, but no one is old except maybe Rio Ferdinand, Scholes and Giggs, and Scholes now has officially retired. So the team now, with the subs they have, I think is capable of continuing on a good level for another 3-4 years at least.
Right. Still with the English teams and Chelsea winning the or Europa League, definitely. Like, you know, after a series of frustrating losses, it was a very important victory and a very important title for Chelsea. How would you comment on that? Yeah,
of course. Before moving to Chelsea, it's a bad week for Benfica. They lost the Portuguese league, almost lost. Now one phase or one round is remaining, and they were leading. Now they're trailing. Most probably they're losing the league, and they also lost this. And what about the cup final? If they will continue losing, I don't know. But with Chelsea now, I mean, this is the game that saved their season. the season has been bad with everything. It was early exit from the Champions League, with early, you can call it exit from the League 2, from the league competition. They were down too early, and the FA Cup and everything. So now, of course, this saved the season. And football-wise, the game Benfica had, I think a better. In the end of the day, Chelsea, I think the players had the spirit to end the season with a trophy. And this group of players, I don't think they deserve to go out from the whole season without a trophy. They're a group of great players, great talents. You can see now talents that will be even better in the future. Mata and Oscar Hazard, these guys are very entertaining when you watch them, and I think they will be huge in the future. So it's actually good to see Chelsea maintaining a cup in the end with Rafa Benitez.
Right. Also, the last piece of news that we have, definitely a great achievement for the French team, Paris Saint-Germain. PSG managed to win the title after 19 years of the French league title. So how would you comment on that?
They got to win this title if they spend all this money, and if they have Zlatan Ibrahimovic, yes, and they have Thiago Silva, they have Lafiti, they have Verratti now. All these guys are now targets for big teams and great players, seriously. Overqualified for the French league now. This yes, is how I call it. Like a team like PSG, if they compete in a stronger league, would even be better. You can win the French league with the team that is not as strong as PSG.
As PSG, yes.
Yeah. So, but the good thing is also that they've done well in the Champions League. Even against Barcelona, the first game wasn't in their favor. The second game in Barcelona, they gave Barcelona a hard time. Overall, as a season, it was a very good season, very good start.
They started the match with a 1-0, and they almost had the qualification, but they lost it at the very last.
Exactly, and it's a very good start for the new management of the club. I think the investment is going the right way, and they're picking the right coach and the right players, and they're doing fine. They're doing very well. And the next season, I expect they would definitely keep the league and maybe proceed a little bit more in the Champions League.
That was a celebration for PSG, and definitely the first French league title after 19 years. Finally, I'd like to thank you very much, Abdulrahman Magdi, for joining us. It has been a great pleasure to have you with us tonight.
Thank you. It's good to be here, and good luck.
Thank you very much. And with this, we come to the end of this edition of Sprint. We'd like to thank you very much for joining us, and have a great night. Goodbye.